And we're back.
Let's go.
Sorry for the long absence, everybody. I know you missed us. Welcome back to the Bad Bets for Free podcast, sponsored by the Sharps Toolbox. Your hosts, Devin and Zach.
How we doing, guys? Apologies for missing week one. A lot of craziness going on in the Sharps Toolbox and Bad Bets for Free world. But we are back. We are ready. We're going to do a quick recap of week one. We're going to talk about week two, and we'll wrap up with our contest weeks, and we'll kind of, maybe you'll be able to piece it together, as I'm sure we won't be able to help ourselves saying, oh, I wanted this game for the contest. But we'll wrap up with contest and start talking a little bit about week two. It's Wednesday right now. Westgate numbers are already out. So we can kind of start talking about maybe, what we're looking at moving forward. So, Devin, I guess I'll go. I'll start with Bills Rams, recap the Bills Rams. Thursday Night Football, week one, first game of the season. Bills defense looked amazing. Rams offensive line looks like it has some problems, but again, week one, it's hard to know. Is it more about the Bills defensive line, or is it more about the Rams offensive line in terms of that matchup being, completely one-sided with the Bills dominating the Rams? We know that Bills defensive line is really good. The Rams offensive line, has been very serviceable. So, maybe it's more just Bills dominance. Stafford didn't have any time. So Cooper Kupp 8. I think if you're a fantasy player and you're sitting on Allen Robinson, or if you have Allen Robinson season-long tickets or, props, I would say hold on to hope. He's going to get his. Darrell Henderson looked like the better back in the Rams. And then as far as the Bills, Josh Allen turned it over a couple times. Again, we talked about maybe that being the case again, right? Losing his offensive coordinator, potentially him taking a step back. But boy, did he look good. Turnovers or not, he looked fantastic. And I think, really not a ton to say about this game other than, as we move into week two, expect the Bills line to be a little inflated because of how good they looked. And as far as the Rams, look to find some value, right? I mean, they took a tough loss. They didn't look good. This is the Super Bowl defending champion. They brought back most of their starters. We know this is a good football team. So, again, look for value, especially if you're getting points with the Rams.
When in our absence, since we last released the podcast, we were in Vegas, signed up for the contests. That was like I think it was week 2 of preseason.
Yep.
I think it was week 2.
Correct.
And we talked about how normally those games are just such a bore. It's usually the 2s are running out there, the 3s are running out there, and those games tend to just kind of suck. They're not really moving the ball well and stuff. We noted watching that game that the Bills 2s and 3s were just
good.
Just good.
They dominated that week.
They were still playing.
They're so deep.
It looked like football.
They're so deep.
It just looked like you're watching an actual football game.
Yeah.
So I think they're just that good. And I'm not gonna sit here and be like they're gonna just guaranteed win the Super Bowl. Obviously anything can happen over the course of the year. God forbid someone gets hurt, something like that. But
right.
But they're just if all goes well and they get a couple lucky bounces here and there. To answer your question, no, I think the Rams are a good football team. But the Bills are just
they're deep.
They're just different.
They're deep.
They're just different.
Yeah, they look like Super Bowl contenders. They look like, hey, it's Super Bowl bust for Buffalo. That's not breaking news, but they look really good.
They just look really good. And Allen Robinson will be fine. The interesting thing though is Cam Akers.
He looks slow to me.
I haven't really heard a lot of people talk about this. I'm sure other people have this opinion, but they rushed him back. They played him a lot when he came back. It was Cam Akers, the Super Bowl was all him, and then now all of a sudden they're just fading away from him.
Well, I thought Darrell Henderson looked like the better back.
Darrell Henderson looked like the better back.
So I think if you're Sean McVay, you play the better back. It doesn't matter who the public drafted higher in fantasy, right? You play the better back, and Darrell Henderson looked like the better back, and we know he's got better hands. And I also, and this is a factor, he's a better blocking back. He's really good in pass blocking.
Did you see the thing that went viral of whoever their big interior lineman is, the Bills?
Uh,
just
Ed Oliver
I don't know who it is, but the
for the Samoan one.
or fucking Cam Akers just move out of the way.
Yeah, he's not. He can't see, and that's the sort of stuff like head coaches don't put up with that, right? Like they don't want. You can't do that stuff.
For me in the audience, I love it.
Yeah,
That's fucking awesome.
I think that's enough on that game.
Yeah.
Let's move. Right, we want to
Saints Falcons. So this is what we're going to talk about later, but this was this was our survivor pick for one of our.
Oh my
contest
God!
picks.
What a ride!
I was literally
what a ride!
I literally texted Zach and I just like I don't like to get too like I kind of just like don't talk when I'm sad and I texted Zach and I was like can't believe we're fucking hosed week 1.
Yeah, and I was like, dude, there's a lot. It was like in the third quarter, and I was like, there's a lot of football left. And Survivor's crazy. Like the Survivor makes you truly appreciate these contests. Make you truly appreciate how crazy the NFL season is. Because like that game looked dead to rights,
Oh, it was
but I
awesome.
knew I was like, no, nothing's this easy. You know what I mean? If you've got Falcons plus 5.5, you're feeling like a king, but like nothing's this easy. And sure enough, the Saints come back to win that game. But
Pain, a lot of pain, just pain,
yeah,
pain everywhere.
they should have lost that game. Also, the Taysom Hill stuff. Why? It was the only thing working for them in the first half. Why weren't they doing it more? And then also, you know, the mobile quarterback angle. Mobile quarterbacks have always given Dennis Allen's defense fits, and Mariota ran all over him and looked good. I mean, he looked solid. I mean, and again, this is a guy that was drafted, you know, second overall behind Jameis Winston. He got benched for Ryan Tannehill, but he's a serviceable quarterback. He's one of the better backups to have in the league. I'm not saying he deserves to be a starter, but he can play football. And honestly, the Atlanta defense surprised me. They looked decent in that first half. It looked they got a little gas, but they shut down Kamara. No one can guard. Also, Michael Thomas is all the way back
Michael Thomas is back.
He looks so
Saquon
good.
Barkley and Michael Thomas are going to be fighting for comeback player of the year all year.
all year long.
All year. The other thing I'll add to that is ESPN has Taysom Hill projected 2 points. I put him in my tight end spot.
Yeah, I had him in a tight end spot as well because I was like, all it takes is like one touchdown run on the goal line. It's insane. This isn't a fantasy podcast, but
But
It
that was
is-
awesome. The
is
thrill of
funny.
like we're gonna be fucking eliminated. The Saints came back week 1.
amazing.
That was fucking awesome.
Yeah. I will say though, in that game, some of the like takeaways from a betting perspective. Look, it's a tale of two halves for the Saints offense. Which one do you think is going to be moving forward? Is it the second half where Jameis was making throw after throw after throw, or is it the first half where they couldn't get anything going? And then defensively, you know, they look like dog shit in
Yeah.
the first half.
I think the second half is probably more indicative. Jameis got hurt, didn't play last year. He's got to get his sea legs under him
Yeah.
a little bit. I think
What do we think about Atlanta? Because I thought they surprised me both on offense and defense.
Drake London's the real deal.
And Cordarrelle Patterson's still playing.
Cordell
you know,
Patterson, I think, got 35,
he had 26 touches
26 touches.
for 120
I was going to
yards.
say 35 didn't sound way too high.
No, and a
26
touchdown.
touches.
Yeah, it might have been touches between
25.
like kick returns and receptions. I don't actually
No,
know.
it was 25, not 35.
But he carried the ball a lot. He ran well. He looked good. And Drake London looks like the real deal. And Mariota looks like he's bought into. And like, not for nothing. Arthur Smith had him in Tennessee,
Yeah.
so he knows the system. That's one maybe we should have looked at and said we probably should have been more scared of that game, knowing, you know, looking back on it. Glad we snuck through, but watch out for Atlanta maybe. And this, I'll tell you, I'll just, you know, to jump ahead. You know, in the Westgate, you can get Atlanta plus 10.5 this week against the Rams. It's in LA, which is a different discussion. I tell you what, I'm not laying 10.5 on the Rams, but I might take a shot at Atlanta. Probably a no play, more realistically. But
Hey,
Anyway.
that's a bad bet that you can get for free.
that's a bad bet. you
Only
can get
here
for
with
free.
us.
Take Atlanta plus 10.5.
All right, 49ers Bears, you're up.
Oh my God. Slop fest. Bad quarterback city. I mean, and I like Justin Fields. I think he showed progress at the end of the year. But this was, I mean, the Bears were held to 3.6 yards per play. That is not good. And they won the game. And that's because Trey Lance
It's so bad.
is so bad.
It is not Trey Lance season.
It is not Trey Lance season. If you're John Lynch right now, you are miserable. You are like, oh my God, did I fuck that up?
And Jimmy Garoppolo is so handsome too, just chilling, waiting to hang out, get back out there.
He's just I mean, he's gonna be laughing. Also, like, there was a report, Jay Glazer, this is very well known, came out and he's like, yeah, the Niners front office and coaching staff pulled 15 captains, and they're like, there's gonna be some ups and downs. He's not gonna look great. We need you to back him up. We need to boost him up. And like the best comment I heard about that was basically like, you're gonna do that for the left guard? You're gonna the only reason like preventing the riot. You know who the best quarterback on the roster is. You know you're not playing him, and you're just like you're trying to prevent the riot before it occurs. And also, like, what does that say to the locker room? If you're a left guard fighting for his fucking job every day and day out, the backup is you're battling it out, and one day you have a bad day, you get replaced. Are they going to call a meeting and say like, hey, we got to back up Johnny left guard? No. And it just, the whole thing is a disaster. The 49ers are an absolute dumpster fire right now. And it's very convenient. Oh, the rain, the slop, it's hard. Fuck that. He looked like shit.
I can't wait for them to get their doors blown off this week and him just look like shit again. And Eli Mitchell's hurt. Like, they brought in Marlon Mack. Marlon Mack couldn't make the Texans roster.
Yeah, and like Deebo Samuel looked good again. Good for Deebo. Brandon Ayuk looked great. Like, how long till Jimmy? All right, over under. How long till Jimmy G starts?
I don't know. They put themselves in a tough position. Like, they kind of have to play Trey Lance.
Do you think Kyle Shanahan just quits and is like, if we're gonna fucking do this thing, I'm not doing it?
I don't know. They're in such a tough position.
It's so bad.
Yeah.
They've dug themselves their own grave, and they either have to lie in that grave now and cover him in, or they can say, okay, guys, we made a mistake. Jimmy G, you're back. Like, it's such a bad position for the 49ers.
It's so bad.
Other takeaways, the Bears are not a good team. Don't let week one fool you. Darnell Mooney didn't get a touch. The Bears defensive line the Niners defensive line destroyed the Bears. The 49ers are such a good team. I don't know why they're wasting this roster on fucking
Politics.
Trey Lance and politics.
It's
It's so bad. But if you're looking at that game and you're looking at it, like, I bet the Seahawks +10 already. I took them +10, and then it fell to +8.5, and now it's back up to 9.5. I mean,
Seahawks exciting team after week one. Geno Smith,
dude.
Geno Smith was moving the ball.
Geno. Can't believe it. Remember when he punched a teammate? He got punched in the face by his teammate. Yeah,
we talked about that a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, that's incredible.
It is. Steelers, Bengals. This was another really fun one. Joe Burrow threw 4 interceptions.
And fumbled one. But we talked about this. Steelers have the best defense in the league.
Yeah.
And still, they should have lost that game. If the long snapper hadn't have gotten hurt, they win that game, right?
TJ
like the
Watt
Bengals
going
win that
down,
game.
I feel like they're still going to be so good.
Yeah, they have a great defense. There's no doubt. Hightower's a stud. Like, they've got players all over that field.
I mean, like, I like the Bengals. I like Joe Burrow. He's young. He's cool. Jamar Chase is cool. Like, and they're a fun team to get behind. But, like, and obviously the Steelers have their issues. Watching that game, I was just like, you just feel like Joe Burrow's going to pull it out. You just feel like he kind of has that special.
I mean, he did.
Like,
he did more or less put them in. Again, if the long snapper for the Bengals doesn't get hurt, they win that game.
That catch by Deontay Johnson.
That was so cool.
Was stupid.
Oh,
that's an early candidate for catch of the year.
How about the one that didn't count by
Jamar
Chase?
Oh my God!
Holy
that
crap.
catch was disgusting.
That was such a fun game to watch. I was rooting so hard for the Steelers. We had the Steelers in the contest. That was in every single contest play I had. But, like, let's put this into perspective. The Steelers offense only scored 9 points?
Yeah, that was a good win for us with the Steelers. We looked at that. We knew we've been on the Steelers.
That was an early bet for me with points, money line. That was a good win. That felt great. But again, the Steelers offense looked bad.
Interested to see how they're going to play against the Pats this week, just because the Pats' strength of their defense strength of the team is more on their defensive side.
I love the Pats this week.
And Najee is maybe not going to play.
Yeah, I love the Pats this week.
Pats suck.
I took him in a pick 'em. I've got a -2 now. But anyway, anything else you want to talk about? Steelers Bengals.
No, we can keep moving to Eagles lines.
What a fucking game! What a fucking game! I mean,
It's hard not to get behind the Lions right now.
points. I thought this was a lot. I thought we wrapped it up. At a certain point, I stopped paying attention because I was like, "Oh, Eagles covered. We're good." And then the Lions backdoor covered it, and I wanted to blow my brains out. But again, a couple things about that game. Eagles played terrible against the run, which you think with Fletcher Cox, Jordan Davis in the middle, you should be able to stop the run. They did not stop the run.
DeAndre Swift was like the Dane Tomlinson out there.
And Jamal Williams was punching it in. Granted, he's going to be out this week, but also Amon-Ra St. Brown's the real deal. We've known that he's the real deal. David Jared Goff problem. If the Lions find a quarterback, they're going to be a really good team. I thought their defense played well. I know they gave up 40 points. Weird to say, oh, your defense. Look, it's hard to prepare for the Eagles.
The Eagles
and the offense they run.
Yeah, the rushing attack there is crazy.
Yeah, and A.J. Brown is a huge addition. And Dallas Goedert's a grown man who can block, catch, run with the ball. He's a very good football player. Yeah, I guess not much to say other than fuck the Lions for covering that. And
yeah, that was a tough one.
And that was a fun game.
Yeah,
I think Eagles should be the favorite to win the NFC East, especially now with Dak out.
The Cowboys are dead.
Cowboys are not in a good place.
They're dead.
McCarthy's dead. If you can get good plus money on Mike McCarthy to be first coach fired, you should go bet that right now.
What do we have now? Let's do this. Pats Dolphins. So I'll give you some. I'll peel the curtain back a little bit for the contest picks here. My good friend over here, Zach, who's been more successful and has history in these endeavors, this is my first swing at it. It was high on taking the Patriots here. I'm a Patriots fan. They're my number one team.
You're wearing a Patriot shirt right now.
We spent all this time getting so in the weeds about football. I've been saying the Patriots might be a bottom 3 to 5 team in the AFC all summer long. All summer long. I've been saying it to anyone that'll listen to me. And I'm one of those delusional fans that's like so annoying to talk to about the Patriots. Always have been and always will be. When I'm telling you that we're going to be a bottom 3 team in the NFL in the AFC this year, that's all you need to know.
Look, it was a weird game to watch because the Patriots looked badly coached.
Oh, wait, hold up. You owe me 30 push-ups.
I do owe you 30 push-ups.
Love that.
We'll get that done here at the end.
Love that.
I'll do the push-ups on camera.
Yeah.
At the end of the pod.
Yeah.
Because I did, in order to incentivize us taking the 3.5 points with the Pats, we did a 30 push-up bet. So here's the thing with that game, though. The Patriots shot themselves in the foot. They didn't look like a well-coached team. I don't think it was a talent issue. I honestly was blown away by how poorly coached they look with bad penalties, sloppy turnovers, and Mac Jones looked like shit. On the other side of the ball, Tua is still Tua. He is not.
I'm going to lose that bet. That's another bet that we made that I'm going to lose.
Top 12 in the league. No shot. No shot. I mean, they are going to just ride Tyreek Hill as far as he can bring them. I mean, Tua should have thrown like 4 interceptions. He got really lucky.
Tyreek Hill is so good.
He had one that he threw right into the arms of Devin McCourty, but Tyreek Hill just wanted it more and stole it from his hands.
Jalen Waddle. I mean, Chase Edmonds actually looked decent. Like, they have fast guys who can run around and make plays.
Yeah, and Mike McDaniels had him ready to go. I mean, he called a great game.
Going for it on 4th there, that ended up being a touchdown. That was a wild play.
Yeah, well, also, the going for it on 4th down when your nose tackle jumped off sides and gave him the first down. And I was like, that's bad. That's like so anti-Belichickian.
Well,
it just doesn't.
The defense will take care of itself, and the Patriots always have a huge ascension right towards the back half of the year.
Correct.
The thing about the offense is it's being led by a former special teams coach that was wildly unsuccessful in New York with the Giants and Joe Judge.
Who are you? Who's Joe Judge?
And a former defensive guy who was our defensive guy. That's like me saying I'm the gambling guy with you here. Imagine saying you're the defensive guy when Bill Belichick's your head coach. Your defensive guy is Bill Belichick. You're a seat holder. So you have Matt Patricia, who's a defensive guy.
He's a rocket scientist.
And he is a rocket scientist, but that's not helping here. And you have Joe Judge running our offense. No wonder the offense is fucking anemic.
Yeah, look, I think they're working through a lot of things. Look, they're going to be fine. I'm not worried about the Pats. I love them
suck.
this week. I thought they moved the ball. See, that's the thing you said to me before we hopped on here. Oh, they didn't move the ball. They moved the ball just fine.
They scored 7 points.
They shot themselves in the foot in the red zone, and they had really bad penalties. And I think you're a little too close to the situation and very bitter about this whole thing. Look, they're going to be fine. And I'll tell you what, they're going to beat the Steelers this week.
I'll bet you, and I'll double down. I'll bet you 60 push-ups.
Double or nothing
I'll double or nothing, 60 push-ups
to 60.
to 60.
Done. All right, so now we're not. So now I don't have to do 30. It's double or nothing. Thank you for that, intern Devin. So double or nothing on that. Pats are going to win. I mean, they're. Look, that was a bad game, and the Dolphins deserved to win. They looked like the better coach team. Their game plan was fantastic. They did everything they could to win that game. They looked sharp. And also, you know, Mac Jones played like dog shit. Dog shit. That was the worst game he's had as a pro.
Well, it's like I can't. We gotta keep.
All right, move on. Ravens Jets. Look, I thought this was this is going to sound dumb because the Ravens won the game. I thought the Ravens looked way worse than I expected them to. I thought the Jets looked way better than I expected them to. Michael Carter looked very solid, even though he dropped a touchdown on the 1 yard line. Brees Hall looked really good. He looked sharp, quick, fast. You know, didn't get a ton of touches. Garrett Wilson had one really outstanding play where he made like 3 guys miss. Elijah Moore looks like he's still going to be, you know, a potential wide receiver 1. But at a floor, you know, a very good wide receiver 2. Joe Flacco actually looked better than I expected. Their defense looks bad, and the Ravens did not look that sharp, except for Lamar. Lamar looks great. And maybe once they get J.K. Dobbins back, that'll be different. They need a wide receiver. Devin Duvernay and Rashad Bateman are not going to cut it. They're just not going to cut it. And the Jets did a good job of covering Mark Andrews, so maybe that's why they didn't look great. But all year long, people are going to cover Mark Andrews. They have to. Who else is he going to throw to? That game, I had the Ravens in several Survivor tickets, and I took them in a couple of -7 in a millions entry. Look, I think I'm actually more down on the Ravens after that game and more up on the Jets. The Jets, they had a couple of drives where I was like, wait a minute. Are the Jets a quarterback away from being a good team?
Brees Hall looked good.
Michael Carter looked great. But again, not much to say on that game other than just I'm a little wary of the Ravens now, and I think the Jets could be somewhat of a dangerous team against the spread.
Yeah, agreed. All right, Jags, Commanders. Is Carson Wentz back?
Duck Hunter? Duck Hunter 2.0?
I mean, he spread the ball around. They scored.
He showed some escapability too. He was moving around in the pocket.
Yeah, I just looked it up. He had a 110 passer rating.
Yeah, he played well. It was against the Jaguars defense, which is something. And he had everything to prove in that game, and that's a different thing.
Big takeaway here is, honestly, the Jags still should have won. Travis Etienne dropped 2 touchdowns. One, he was overthrown by Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
He dropped another one. But there's 2 touchdowns that should have happened right
And
there.
Jack Del Rio should be shot into the sun. With the talent they have on that defense and the way they play, it's hard to watch. I know they didn't have Chase Young in. They've Jonathan Allen in the middle. Just be better.
Yeah, the Jags really should have won. And another funny thing was like Travis Etienne, James Robinson looked great. If they could do like a 2-headed monster, kind of like Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon thing, and take some pressure off of Trevor Lawrence, who has some people to throw to, Zay Jones, Evan Ingram, Christian Kirk. Like, there's some guys out there that can get you back.
Christian Kirk actually looked pretty good. He looked pretty good.
The Jaguars could be a fun team against the spread this year.
Yeah, I think so too.
We could be talking about them a lot differently if one of those touchdown passes.
I also think they're going to be a big over team. I think their defense is dog shit, but I think they're going to score some points. They're going to be a good over team. Colts Texans, the longest game that ever was, the big tie, knocked out the second most picked game in Survivor, the Colts, and they tied it, and ties don't advance in Survivor. I thought it took a long time for the Colts to get warmed up. I've been saying Davis Mills is the guy now for the better part of 2 years. Look, Davis Mills looked great. And like he's got no weapons other than Brandon Cooks, and he's still doing it. Like he's the opposite of Danny Jones. Like everyone wants to make excuses about Danny Jones. Oh, he doesn't have the offensive line. He doesn't have the weapons. Well, look at Davis Mills. Davis Mills is a player. You know, Giraffe can ball.
Big long neck, crew neck,
Yeah, Mr. Cashmere.
Mr. Sweaters endorsements.
Yeah, sweater cashmere endorsements. He's a fucking player. I'm down on the Colts after that game though. Their defense didn't
They
look
picked
amazing.
up right where they left off.
Yeah, they
Right?
did.
You thought Matt Ryan was going to come in. They had a Carson Wentz problem. That was a poison pill in the locker room. Kind of like what we say about the San Francisco 49ers. But then they came on. And Michael Pittman looks great.
Michael Pittman looks so good.
Michael Pittman's the man. Jonathan Taylor looks good.
Yeah,
You would think with Jonathan Taylor playing well and Michael Pittman playing well that they would have won.
yeah, and Stephon Gilmore played pretty well
So
too.
like, what the hell's going on there?
You know, I like Frank Reich as a coach, but sometimes you need a new voice.
All right. Chiefs cards. This confirmed two things that we talked about earlier. Is one, the Chiefs are still the Chiefs. And as much as Tyreek Hill being gone sucks for them, the Chiefs are still really, really, really good. They have really, really good coaching. They have good consistency. They've had a
And you
good
know what they
program.
do? They
they've
play
got
in the
Mahomes.
preseason.
And they, yeah. It's just,
You know, there were 11 quarterbacks that did not play one snap in the preseason, and it wasn't Mahomes.
I didn't know that.
Mahomes plays in the preseason, and that shows. You know, Lamar, if it wasn't for the holdout, would have played in the preseason. You got to play,
You got to play.
especially in week one. Like, if you're handicapping week one, you have to take into account preseason games.
And then another thing was, I mean, like I'm not saying that they're a bad team. They're just a team that I just don't fucking like.
Cards.
Is the Cardinals.
Yeah, fuck the Cardinals.
Fuck, like,
Fuck
if
Cliff
there was a
Kingsbury.
graph of like teams that actually aren't that bad relative to me disliking them,
They'd be at the absolute top.
at the top of it,
Fuck them.
because they're actually not that bad relative to how much I fucking hate them.
I fucking hate
but
them.
I just fucking hate them.
I also don't fucking really. I don't really like Kyler.
You know, like Kyler. Kyler's just spud. Also, like, is he like weird looking?
Bro, I don't like his body language on the sideline with
yeah,
his
that's what I'm
team.
talking about.
He
He's
reminds
weird.
me. So I coach 7th grade modified football. He reminds me of like a whiny 7th grader who's been like spoiled by his parents and is like, "Well, haven't you seen my contract? Like, shut up, dude. Like, can you just try?"
He looks weird. He just looks weird. I don't really know how to quantify that, but in my bones, I believe that. He just looks weird, whatever the fuck that means. And like Cliff Kingsbury,
Fuck that guy. What a spud.
and it's like they don't have Hopkins. AJ Green's a million years old. I mean, Marquise Brown did have that really nice catch in the end zone.
And you lost Christian Kirk. And like James Conner looked good, but you didn't give him the ball that much. And also you were down so many points. What were you supposed to do?
And like, I mean, listen, they're not going to play the Chiefs every week, so they'll be in better games. Not going to get the doors blown off them by a top 2, 3, 4 team in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean the Chiefs ran him out though.
But like Isaiah Pacheco had 12 rushes.
Yeah, at the end of the game
It was just like
for 62 yards,
not-
by the way,
yeah,
and a touchdown.
Yeah, which is awesome. I have him in a couple of my leagues.
Yeah,
But
he's gonna climb the depth charts.
It's
after
just
that.
it was just no contest. Like
Yeah.
it was like I didn't hear any bell, and it was like, okay, buddy, the bell rang. Fucking,
I didn't hear no bell.
the bell rang 3
I didn't hear no
quarters.
bell. Yeah.
Kyler's just
He's already dead. I didn't hear no bell.
yeah, so that sucks.
Panthers Browns. We jumped over that one. Man, the Browns have such a good roster. Their offensive line. Jacoby Brissett. I mean, he could have sang the alphabet song in the pocket. Like he's back there like A B C D E. The kid. I mean, he had all the time in the world. Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt is such a deadly 1-2. Murray Cooper didn't even get involved.
We
and
talked
they're-
about Donovan Peoples-Jones earlier.
Donovan. Yeah.
He had 11 targets.
Yeah. Well, part of that too, right?
Because Brissett can't get it to Cooper, probably.
Yeah, I mean they had J.C. Horn all over. I mean the Panthers defense looked good. I thought given what the Browns look like, the Panthers defense looked good. Baker's still Baker. I want him to be better, but he's not.
Can't see over the offensive line.
And like also Ben McAdoo back in a real coaching position. Can you get the ball to Christian McCaffrey a little more? can you find ways to get the ball into your best player's hands? Like he touched the ball 12 times.
Robbie Anderson had that sick catch though.
Can you give the ball to CMC, and DJ Moore? Like I can't even. Ben McAdoo also should be shot into the sun.
He's also a person that looks weird.
He looks he's
in
such
a way
weird.
different way than Kyler looks weird. But
Kyler
Ben
looks like a
McAdoo
cartoon.
But Ben McAdoo looks fucking weird too.
Ben McAdoo, like the episode of South Park when they're playing World of Warcraft. Ben McAdoo looks like the guy who behind
I don't, but that's a great reference.
And yeah, that's a great reference. He says as he rolls his fucking eyes. Fuck you, Devin.
All right, yeah. I mean that sucks. Fuck the. Oh, also total sidebar thing, but this is just something that's fucked up about the NFL that I had this epiphany today. Is the Seahawks? Who'd they play?
Broncos
was the most Monday Night Football game since 2009. When he comes back in Week 11, when the WWF writers that now work for the NFL,
oh yeah,
when fucking Scummer McGee comes back Week 11, their first game back is against the Cleveland Browns. 3 billion people are gonna watch that game. The NFL's fucked up, dude.
Yeah. Also, fuck Deshaun Watson.
Fuck Deshaun Watson.
Fuck Deshaun Watson.
That's crazy.
Not a friend of the program.
Not a friend of the program.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah, but it's fucked up that the NFL does. I mean, like I sit here and I genuinely feel that way, but I'm gonna watch every second of that game.
I don't think I will.
I will. We all are. Everyone's gonna.
Well, I don't know.
All
Fuck
right,
that guy.
Keep it moving.
I fucking. You know what I hope, honestly, and I've never rooted. I shouldn't even say this.
No, don't say it. We're gonna have to have Andy edit it out.
I hope he tears his ACL.
Okay, that can stay. Giants, Titans. You talk about your team here.
What's there to say? The Giants look so bad, except for Saquon Barkley. I guess their defense looked fine. Look, their defense surprised me. I thought there was going to be no shot they were going to be able to stop Derrick Henry with the ball in his hands because you were missing both your edge players. You cut Blake Martinez. But Carter Coughlin looked like a legitimate middle linebacker in the NFL. Tay Crowder, who's been in the league for a long time. Like, there's a thing that happens sometimes in football where you can be like an average to okay, like an okay to average player, and then you get a coach who
knows
just
how to use you.
Just it clicks, and what they're asking you to do fits with your style of play. And I think that's maybe what's happening with Tay Crowder, because I know like everyone wants to talk about the big hit he had on Derrick Henry.
That was awesome.
He had a hell of a game outside of that hit.
Can I throw a question out that's kind of similar to that about
Yeah.
the Giants?
Of course.
What the fuck happened to Kenny Galladay?
What do you mean? He had an ACL injury. He had a back injury. He had a shoulder. Like, the guy's been injured as fuck. And then Dave Gettleman was just like, "Oh, I'll give you $60 million."
But is he back? Is he playing football? Like, is he like, is he doing anything ever again?
I think he had one catch for 19 yards.
Like how
He
many
was on the field
How many snaps did he get? What was his
a
snap
bunch.
share?
He got a bunch of snaps. He sucks. He's not any good. He's been washed up for 2 years.
What the hell?
He's not good anymore, man.
That's crazy. Kenny Galladay was so good, he was able to still be good when the Lions were the Lions.
Yeah, I mean, with no quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had me and you and Charlie Peltzer on him the football.
I mean, there were games he had David Blau throwing him the ball, and he looked great. But here's the thing, right? Like, we signed Kenny Galladay when no one else was willing to sign him because of all his injury concerns. He wasn't passing physicals, and the Giants are like, "We'll give you $60 million." Kenny Galladay sucks. Sterling Shepard sucks.
How long until Malik Willis starts playing? Who plays first, Malik Willis or Jimmy Garoppolo?
It's way off. Ooh, I wish that was a prop.
Who plays first? Only here on the Bad Bets for Free podcast. Who plays first?
Jimmy G.
Jimmy G.
I thought Tannehill looked okay.
Malik Willis killed it in the preseason. Looked like a cyborg.
Yeah, I mean, so did the Giants. They only lost one game.
Like 3 these days.
But here, so going back to the Titans Giants game though, and I do think Jimmy G will play. Give it 3-4 weeks. There'll be a riot in the locker room. Like, eventually, everyone's gonna be like, "Yo, we were in the NFC Championship game with Jimmy G. He took you to a Super Bowl. Can we stop fucking around with the 22-year-old kid who doesn't know what he's doing out there and is wildly inaccurate and he's a year away from being ready to start? Can we stop? It's so bad, dude.
He's a year away from being a year away.
He's a year away from being a year away, man. Shout out to all of our loyal fans just here in the studio with us, cheering us on as we talk.
Oh, man.
But I think Giants defense was surprisingly good. I think Danny G met his 2 turnover quarter. He's just Danny Jones sucks. He's so fucking bad. And like was I on the phone with you and you said this to me? Someone said this to me, and I was like, that is the best point ever made. If Saquon Barkley touched the ball 20 times and ran for 100 yards instead of 180, they score 3 points.
I didn't say that, but
So-
I don't think that's the most Albert Einstein take in the whole world.
But like that's the whole thing, right? Like Saquon carried them.
He did.
I thought, and like the Titans did some weird things at the end of the game I didn't like. But I thought their offense looked like it was going to grow. Their defense still looked really solid, although not as good as I would have expected. I like the Titans this week, +10 on the road in Buffalo. I think that's a super inflated line. I think the chance of Vrabel starting the season 0-2 against the spread is pretty non-existent.
He's such a good coach.
He's such a good
the
coach.
Titans just looked awful, and they still. Like,
And they
Robert
should have won
Woods
that
isn't
game.
Back.
They should have won that game.
Yeah, whoever the other guy is, the rookie that they just drafted had 9 targets. Like,
Traylon Burks. Yeah.
No, not Traylon Burks. The other kid. There's another rookie on the team that led their team in receptions and targets.
Dante Hilliard.
No, not Dante Hilliard. That's a running back.
Yeah, and he's not a rookie either.
No, the kid that I'm thinking of. Sorry, apologies, everybody, for the dead air here. But the
You're good.
guy that I'm thinking of is, and I got it right here, Kyle Phillips.
Oh, he looked good.
Looked really good.
He looked like a
60
player.
for 66 yards.
He did look like a player. He played really well. He caught the ball. He ran into tough parts of the field too. Yeah, he did look good.
That was good.
But that game, it is what it is. The Giants are still going to suck. I think the way they were unable to cover Dante Hilliard. Look for CMC to rip them a new asshole next week.
So moving forward to the Bucks Cowboys, the point that you made earlier, a little light bulb went off for me there about like you have to play.
Yeah,
Brady looked like
he hadn't played.
he hadn't played,
Yeah.
and he's 45 years old.
Yeah.
And he's probably getting a divorce. And,
Even though like they drove the field, they just couldn't get it done in the red zone.
right, like all of that. Now I think they'll be fine. I mean, Godwin's banged up. Julio Jones actually, they came out, he made it onto the injury report today, Wednesday, as we're recording this.
Tough matchup next week though in New Orleans.
New Orleans always gets up for that game.
Yeah.
New Orleans
Dennis
always
Allen-
gets up for that
Dennis
game.
Allen has him figured out a little bit.
Yeah, they always get up for that game.
It's the only team he has a losing record against.
Yeah. So
in the
that's
regular
tough.
season.
That's a potential
He
trap. game
definitely
there.
has a losing record against the Giants in the postseason.
Season long, I think that the Tampa Bays will still be really good. And then honestly, they didn't have a fair I mean, I think it says more that score Tampa Bay should have won by more. They should have looked a little impressive, but I'm not worried about it.
I mean, that easily could have been a 35-10.
And yeah, like we could be very easily talking about it differently. And honestly,
sure.
the Cowboys defense isn't really that bad. They got some guys that can play. The Cowboys are.
Bad.
It's done. It's over.
Yeah, Mike McCarthy, first coach to get fired. You heard it here first.
They might not even come in second in the division. They might come in third. They might even come in fourth. I mean, I say that kind of like half, trying
I
to be
think
cheeky.
third is the absolute floor. I think second is the place to put him.
Yeah, they're not going to beat the Eagles. But if the Giants do Giant stuff, if the Commanders do Commanders, it's not. I would say this. This is what I would say. Follow me on this. Is they're not. I would say they have a better chance of coming in fourth than they do of coming in first.
I agree with that. I definitely agree with that.
100%.
I definitely agree with that. They have no shot to win this division.
They have no shot.
If you're sitting here listening, dad or mom or whoever's listening to this podcast, and you have a Dallas Cowboys ticket to win the NFC East, you might as well put it through a paper shredder.
Yeah, go outside and light it on
If it's an
fire.
electric file, delete it.
Or just do like what I do when I play blackjack in the casinos and just fucking piss it all away.
Side story: worst blackjack player ever. I'm decent, right? I know all the ins and outs of basic strategy, and am sharp enough to I can't count, but I can like
Fucking Molly's game over here.
count slowly and be a little bit behind. But like I've got a good feel, right? And like Devin will be like, "Should I do this or that?" And I'll be like, "Well, you should do this." And Devin will be like, "What do you think?" The rest of the table, who I don't fucking know, and the rest of the table that he doesn't fucking know, will be like, "You should do. You should split them, man. Split them." And I'm like,
I suck at
no.
blackjack. I suck at blackjack. I shouldn't have brought
He's
it up. I'm
fucking
sorry.
terrible.
Go Bucks. Raiders, Chargers. Give the people what they want.
Yeah. Yeah. Last game, Raiders Chargers.
Well, I have another one.
You do. Last game for me. Raiders Chargers. Derek Carr could not have played worse. They still had an opportunity to win that game at the end of the day. I thought the Raiders did a good job of shutting down Mike Williams, obviously. He clearly was their number one concern. Defensively, Chandler Jones looked good. Denzel Perryman looked good. Max Crosby is the same guy. Look, they're going to be a good football team. I thought Carr, who didn't play in the preseason, looked like he didn't play in the preseason.
And you know what? This game shed some insights on another thing that we talked about, actually, I think across multiple podcasts earlier, is like how much of the needle does any one given player play? Is Devontae Adams worth 3 points in either direction?
Devontae Adams is worth 3 points.
He's worth 3 points.
He's so fucking
He might
good.
be worth 6 points.
He's so fucking
He might
good.
be worth 9 points.
Renfro didn't look good.
And then Devontae Adams had a 45% target share. I'm not even lying about that. I looked at it earlier today.
Yeah, I mean, he looked amazing. Carr looked so bad. I mean, he did everything. He did everything he could to fucking lose that game, and they lost it. But I'll tell you this: Brandon Staley is a dog shit head coach.
Mr. Fourth Down?
Mr. Fourth Down. I get it. The analytics community loves him, but like when Derek Carr turns the ball over 3 times and Justin Herbert looks like an MVP, can you win the game decisively? Can you pull away? Can you close that out? Can you not give the Raiders a chance to go have the ball on the final drive and win the game? I'm so sick of the Brandon Staley hype train in the analytics community. It gives the rest of us who look at analytics and understand what analytics means a bad name because he's a shit head coach. He might know numbers, but he's a shit head coach. He's not any fucking good. I think Brandon Staley is holding that team back. I would love to see him get fired. And you know what? That front office can't clearly. Anthony Lynn, not a good game manager. Brandon Staley, not a good game manager. These are not good coaches. They have so much fucking talent. Derwin James looked like a stud. Joey Bosa did not look good, by the way. Khalil Mack did. And we talked about that. He needed to prove himself to me. But Joey Bosa looked like dog shit, by the way. He got bullied by Darren Waller all game. All game. So, remember, that was my hottest take.
It's some alternate reality. I know that the likelihood of this is incredibly small, but if we ever somehow, some way find ourselves in a room with Joey Bosa,
He's going to kill me.
I'm
5'11".
I'm going to do everything I can to make it happen.
I'm 5'11". He's going to fucking eat me as a snack.
Instigate the fuck out of that.
He's going to use his bones as my bones as a toothpick. He's going to be like, yeah, go ahead, talk shit. But I don't give a fuck. Bro, he is such a big contract, and Chandler Jones looks so much better than him yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. Keenan Allen's already hurt. That sucks. Eckler looked good.
Why wasn't he on the field more? Why was Joshua also just the whole again?
They got out-snapped.
Brandon Staley sucks.
I think Eckler had 31 snaps. I think those other two guys had 34 combined.
That's what I'm saying. It's so fucking stupid.
Yeah. All right, last game, and then we'll get into some quick hitters for picks that we're interested for this upcoming week.
Yeah.
Is Broncos Seahawks. This was so awesome. This was so crazy. And actually, the coolest thing I saw about all of this was the post-game interview with who was the D lineman that got traded from the Broncos to the Seahawks? Whatever his name is, I don't know his name, but he got interviewed after and was just like, what's the stupid thing that he said? Let's ride.
Oh!
At the end of the interview, he goes, "Let's ride."
All I gotta say,
let's ride.
Let's ride.
That was awesome.
That's
and
good.
then Richard Sherman was talking today. And listen, I know Richard Sherman talks. It's like his whole thing. But he was saying how he thinks that Russell Wilson doesn't have permission to make moves like call timeouts without the sideline. Where someone like Tom Brady,
Really?
Peyton Manning, those guys can just their coach on the field. They could just call timeout.
Well,
The reason why they didn't call timeout is because they were waiting for the sidelines to tell Russ it was okay to take a timeout, and there was some miscommunication there, and that's why Russ didn't take a timeout.
I could buy into that. Although I don't think you pay a guy, you don't trade for give up what you gave up and then bring him in and then not treat him like a franchise quarterback. That doesn't make sense to me. Unless the Broncos are just a dumpster fire.
I don't know, but the
Geno Smith though, they
Looked
wrote me
great.
off. I ain't right back.
I ain't right back.
I love it.
That
dude.
was such a good
I
line.
love it.
That was awesome. That was awesome. I mean, it
Also,
was-
not for nothing, Geno spread the ball around. It's not like he asked DK and Lockett to bail him out. I mean, he spread around. Will
Disley caught the
Disley
touchdown.
looked good.
Yeah,
man.
he was spraying it
Rashad
around.
Penny looked good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he went 10 for 52 or something
Yeah,
like that.
I'd say this though. You could tell it bothered Russ when he got booed. In my opinion, he looked rattled. He was like, did not see that coming.
And then another one of those things that like just like the weird things that are just like weirdly niche about certain teams is like Seattle is a hard place to travel into.
There's very few places with a home field advantage. Still, Seattle is one of them.
So you're in there, they're screaming and yelling, they're
Yeah.
booing at you, and Russ is an emotional dude,
Very.
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 So like if there's someone that was gonna like Russ's prime candidate to like be all in his feels.
In going in the game, just totally, just like I can't believe they don't love me no more, man. Why
Oh,
don't
that
they
was
love
awesome.
me?
It was so great to see him lose.
Yeah, I was
It
into
was.
that.
It was awesome.
I took the Seahawks, and I was happy to see them cover and win the game outright. And it knocked out more survivors. Circuit Survivor, by the way, started with 6,133 entries. We're already down to under 3,000 because of all the upsets in week one, which we just love to see. But
All right, let's start right from the top. The Patriots Steelers right now.
well, the top would be Thursday night, tomorrow's game.
Oh yeah, I have that because it's my thing.
Chiefs Chargers.
Chiefs Chargers. I'm staying away from. I actually do think that the Chiefs will win by more than 4 points. If I absolutely had to bet it, but I'm not going to. I'm staying away from that. Avoid at all.
Oh, I
costs.
love the Chiefs. I love the Chiefs.
Chiefs -4.
I'd lay that all day long.
Ah,
In Kansas City,
Chargers are a good football team. It's like you never know.
I get it. The Chargers are a good football team, but the Raiders just turned it over 3 times
But
and
if I-
still had a chance to win the
If
game
I
at the
only
last
have to
minute.
make 5 picks, it's just not one that I'm picking. Well, I mean, I guess
I'm going to sprinkle it in contest play. I mean, I have the Chiefs as almost a full touchdown better than the Chargers.
I don't know. I mean, like, yes, I do think that that's the case, but it's just I feel
In
like
KC, I'll back that all day long. Disagree to disagree, though, or agree to disagree to disagree.
Jets Browns -6.
I'll lay 6 with the Browns there. And I don't usually like favorites, but I'm
No,
2 in a row. I'll lay 4 with the Chiefs. I'll lay 6 with the Browns. The Jets, I said earlier, they look better than I expected them to. Look, that Browns roster is so fucking good. That Browns roster is so
Miles
fucking good.
Garrett might send Joe Flacco to the Shadow Realm.
What does that actually mean? What is the Shadow? What is that from?
Death.
Is that from Yu-Gi-Oh?
Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat?
I don't know. I'm just
Digimon?
It just sounded good. All my
Dragon Ball Z.
all my UFC friends always say that they're gonna send someone to the Shadow Realm.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
I don't. We'll have the intern look it up.
We have a good friend, Pat Milad. He looks just like.
And the girl who I forget her name.
Yeah,
also.
me too. But
Yeah.
he looks just like a very prominent
But Miles,
female UFC
wherever
fighter.
in fact the Shadow Realm actually is, Miles Garrett might send Joe Flacco there.
What is Joe Flacco doing out there, man?
I feel like
He looked better than I thought he
I feel like
would.
watching my dad play.
Yeah.
Did he throw 59 times? Am I making that up?
No, he threw a lot.
I think he threw 59 times.
Yeah, he threw a lot.
Okay, next we got the Commanders Lions. I would probably stay away from that one too.
That's a stay away game for me. I can't touch it.
Bucks Saints 2.5. Stay away.
I'll take the Saints +3. I'll take the Saints +3 at home.
I'll never, ever, ever in my
Um,
life, no matter what, even if he goes out there with one arm, will I root against Tom Brady.
Okay, 2.5 is a number I can't back, but I did already bet the Saints +3. But 2.5 is I can't support it.
Panthers Giants. Giants are
I'm
-2.
all on the Panthers. if I'm getting points with the Panthers.
How are the Giants favored in that game? That's how much
That's what I'm
people love
saying.
Saquon Barkley.
It doesn't make any fucking sense.
That's people love Saquon.
And,
They love New York. They love the New York market. They love Saquon.
It's a 1-0 team that versus an 0-1 team.
Big Blue, baby.
And like the Panthers are the better football team. I'll take points and Panthers all day long.
Yeah, I'm with that. That's a big. All right, I'm up one. I have one so far of the 5. Colts, Jaguars. Colts -4.
I'll take the Jags +4 at home. So there's a system out there, and not one game actually meets the criteria this week. But every year, week 2, what you want to look for is the home team being 0-1 versus the away team being 1-0, and the home team receiving points. So home dogs who are 0-1 versus road favorites that are 1-0, and the home dogs win, man, and they win outright. They win against the spread. You just blindly bet those. Not one game actually meets the criteria this year. The closest is Jags against Colts. Colts didn't win, though. They obviously tied, but the Jags are 0-1 at home, getting points against the 0-1 Colts. But I'll take the Jags all day long, dude. The Colts really underperformed and underwhelmed for me, and I think the Jags look like they're going to score points. I think the Jags might be able to outscore the Colts, I'll take the points.
So if you would have asked me last week, it just in a vacuum, who do I like more, the Jags or the Texans? I would have said the Jags.
Oh, I would have said Texans.
I would have said Jags. I think they just have good pieces. Like I think that they just have good offensive
I
stuff.
mean, I love James Robinson.
Undrafted.
Undrafted.
I love ETN. I think Trevor. I mean, you have to think Trevor Lawrence is decent.
He's gonna be fine.
So like, I mean, if the Texans went toe to toe with the Colts like that, and the Colts are just unraveling, I don't know, but Matty Ryan's probably due for a bounce back game. Next is Dolphins Ravens. Ravens 3.5.
This is a no play for me.
That's a no play for me.
I can't touch that game. I think this game's gonna tell us a lot about the AFC, but it's not a game I can bet.
Specifically those two teams, right?
Yeah, but that's gonna tell you.
Falcons Rams 10.5. That's just such a big number. It's so enticing.
So it was a weird year last year where double-digit favorites tended to cover.
Really?
They did. Double-digit favorites had a great year last year. I don't think this is going to be the same thing. I think the Falcons are going to cover 10.5. You give me 10.5 with the Falcons, I'm going to take it.
And then the next one is Seahawks Niners 9.5. I love that.
Seahawks all day long.
All day.
All day.
That's two.
I'll
guaranteed
bet
for me
against
right
Trey
there.
Lance until the number adjusts.
Yeah,
I'm going to blindly bet against Trey Lance until the numbers adjust.
I'd rather have my mom play quarterback. Bengals Cowboys 7.5.
I got to take the Bengals here. Cooper Rush. The Cowboys look so bad. And the Bengals, as much as they turned the ball over 5 times, scored 21 points, and should have won that game. If their long snapper stays healthy, they win that game. I'll take the Bengals.
I'll take the Bengals 7.5. So that would be 3 for me. Texans Broncos -10. I kind of like the Texans to cover that.
I love the
that. I mean,
Texans.
we love Davis
Mills,
fans.
baby.
Yeah. That could be a big one for me. That could be 4 right there.
Do I trust the Broncos to cover?
Not after what we
10.5
just
points.
saw.
No. And like the Texans are a scrappy team. Also, Lovie Smith's you know what, watching that game, that I had such flashbacks defensively to the Bears Tampa 2 defense they ran with Brian Urlacher in the middle. Not because of they had great play. They were just so swaggy, and they played together, and they played for each other, and that is so important defensively in football.
You're talking about professional athletes. Like, these guys aren't scrubs.
No, they're all good, and like when you have good coaching, you can figure shit out.
And the Texans just got broken up with and dumped by a serial rapist. Like, if there's a team that has a fucking chip on their shoulder,
it's it.
It's the Texans.
Yeah. Also, that's actually a great point. I didn't even think to phrase it that way, but Deshaun Watson dumped them. He was like, I'm not playing for you for a year. And then Cal McNair calls his buddy up who's a lawyer. And he's like, all right, that's it. Find some shit.
Well,
and they're like,
they
actually
knew
really
they could do it
easy.
They were complicit in it because
They were
actually
complicit.
helping.
They were actually a big part
So
of it.
they were like, they tattled on themselves
To get
just
him.
to spite fucking
that
Deshaun
guy.
Watson.
Yeah, fuck. Honestly, fuck that whole situation. Fuck those guys. Fuck everyone involved. But Davis Mills is a stud. I love Davis Mills. And they're going to cover that game.
All right, so I think my calculations are I'm at 4 games now.
Yeah, keep going.
Cardinals Raiders 5.5. I do think that the Raiders will win, but I'm staying away from it.
This game's getting crazy line movement. I like the Raiders when it was like 3.5. It's actually now if you look at it live, it's close to 6. Some books are actually at 6. This is a no play for me. Hard for me to judge the Cardinals based on the Chiefs game. Hard for me to judge the Raiders based on the 3 turnovers and everything they did.
Packers Bears.
You gonna lay 10.5 with the Packers
No.
after what we just saw?
I mean, but like they looked so bad. They looked so bad, but like the Bears are not good either.
That's a
And the
totally different game if Christian Watson doesn't drop the wide open touchdown pass to start the game.
And the Bears are not going to be playing in a monsoon against an anemic Trey Lance every week either.
Yeah. I think this is either dog or pass. You either take the 10 points or you walk away from it.
I think I'm going to walk away from it. I think Aaron Rodgers is. I mean, he got to be pissed.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, he should have taken less money.
Titans Bills. I think the Bills could beat the Titans by 20 points. You know I'm a Bills Titans hater. You love Tannehill. You have this weird thing for fucking Tannehill. You've had for years. It's fucking crazy.
Well, if you go back and listen to our podcast earlier, I did say Tannehill looked like dog shit last year, and if he looks bad to start the season, believe it and bet against them. I just trust Mike Vrabel too much.
That game isn't until Monday at 7:15. Oh, dope. We have 2 Monday night games this week.
Yeah.
That game isn't until Monday at 7:15. I feel like right now on Wednesday night, the Bills are already up 7-0.
So I honestly, for me, it's points or pass. I'm gonna take the Titans plus 10, or I'm not gonna play it. I don't really fuck with Vrabel going 0-2 against the spread to start the season. That just seems statistically improbable.
Dude, the Bills are so good. And
Yeah.
Derrick Henry did not look good.
See, I actually disagree. It's not that I thought Derrick Henry looked bad. It's that I thought the Giants' run defense showed up. And no one's a bigger Giants hater than me. I'm a Giants fan.
It's funny
but
how
I'm a
we
Giants
both have
hater.
those views. Like, you hate the Giants and I hate the Patriots.
Yeah, it is kind of funny.
It's just like, whatever. It's just scored ex-girlfriends. All right, so let's agree to just push on that for now. So far of ones that we agree with, we have Jets, Browns, Panthers, Giants, Falcons, Rams, Seahawks, Niners, Bengals, Cowboys, Texans, Broncos. So there has to be that was 6. There has to be one that wasn't the case.
Well, we need 5. And then and again, we'll tweet out the official Bad Bets for Free tweets at Bad Bets for Free on Twitter. We'll tweet those out. You'll also be able to view them on Sharps Toolbox Twitter, Sharps_Toolbox, and on our Instagram, Sharps_Toolbox. Final game though,
Vikings, Eagles, I'm staying away.
it's such a stay away game.
Such a stay
You
away.
can't. I'll tell you what. If you have an opinion on this side, fucking tweet me.
You have
Let
a
me know
set
what you
of-
think.
You have a set of brass cajones either way.
I can't back either side. I mean,
Here's the thing, like, is like if you made me, right, I'd actually take the Vikings.
you're gonna take Kirk Cousins after 1 p.m. Eastern?
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
Bold strategy. Yeah, the Vikings look like the better team, the better roster, the better coaching staff, maybe even. Bro, I cannot jump face first into Kirk Cousins at 8:30 at night on the East Coast.
I'm actually mad at myself. I totally forgot. how
You
such a
can't
real
do it,
fan is.
dude. I'm so scarred from how many times I've been like, no, Kirk is a quarterback.
But like
He's the real
Justin
deal.
Jefferson is that dude. Justin Jefferson might be like the new generation of like Calvin Johnson or LaDainian Tomlinson or like that like Randy Moss, like just that like crazy household, crazy
Everyone
offensive weapon name
Undisputable top 3 weapons at
Right.
the wide receiver position.
or running back or like
Yeah,
whatever.
he's-
like
he's a-
Tony
he's a freak.
Gonzalez, tight end,
Marshall
like
Faulk.
Marshall Falk, like just like
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
crazy like he might be him.
I definitely think he is. He's a fucking player. He's so good. He runs great routes. He doesn't drop passes. He's good with the ball in his hands after the catch. There's really not much you can say negatively about him.
All right. How do we want to wrap this up? We're at time.
So we said we talked a little bit about contest plays. So we went 3-2 in both the Westgate Super Contest and the Circa Millions. Our core three or our core four rather were the Bears, the Steelers. I should pull this up. I'm an idiot for not pulling this up.
Bears hit. Steelers hit.
We were
Bucks hit.
Bears, Bucks, Steelers was our core three, Eagles, and core four. So the Eagles backdoor cover ripped our heart out. Bears, Bucks, Steelers all covered. And then in one entry, we went with the Raiders. The other, we went with the Pats. Neither covered. Ended up going 3-2 in both. Not the start we're looking for, but it's a long season. And again, we've got some interesting picks this week. We will tweet out our picks for week 2 at Bad Bets for Free on Twitter. Also at Sharps_Toolbox on Twitter, and the same Sharps_Toolbox on Instagram. Thanks as always for not listening. We know we're just doing this for ourselves at this point. There's no one listening.
I don't know. I think this is the week.
This is the week?
This is the week.
People are going to tune in?
People are going to tune in. We have to actually drop these, though.
Well, they're on Spotify and YouTube.
Oh, check us out on Spotify and YouTube.
Which you would know because you're listening to one or the other.
Yeah, true. Yes. You can only get this level of content here, folks.
Yeah.
Follow
us on Twitter and Instagram. Go ahead, one more. Thank you. I will say this final parting gift. Teasers are a valuable tool, folks. Make sure you take advantage of teasers. I'm going to be tweeting out some of the power rankings. If you want to take a look at the official Bad Bets for Free power rankings, follow us on Twitter. Follow Sharps_Toolbox on Instagram and Twitter for our official power rankings every week.